What's scary is Max can actually just take these, like he's taking the nuts off with his hand. They're that loose.
This could have gone so wrong. Hi guys, I'm Max and this is Sophie and welcome back to our van build.
We haven't been building much this week
No,
because it's been a bit of a disaster. And we're here to tell you why. So remember when I said this?
So we've made it back to the lockup. She's back in one piece.
Well, that was a lie.
We just returned from the show and we were pulling the van back into the lockup, and I noticed a weird sort of noise coming from the rear axle. And as Max was pulling in, I could hear like a plastic, clunky kind of a sound. I got in the van to try and show him what the noise was, and then he immediately noticed something was wrong with the wheel, and quite majorly wrong with the wheel. I think one of the more scary things was that we hadn't noticed the sound at all whilst we were driving. You couldn't hear it in the cab. So that really shocked us that something had gone wrong and we had not noticed at all.
So it turns out our wheel has become a little bit loose, which has damaged the wheel, the like stud bolt things that the wheel nuts go onto, and the wheel itself. They're all a bit broken and damaged now.
Yeah, it's not great. It's pretty scary actually. The wheel was really close to like coming off, and we're kind of a bit worried because we'd had the wheels off previously and we had tightened them up not that long ago, so we didn't think that was something possible that could happen.
And we checked them this morning and we
So
walked around.
We need to
all
figure
fine.
out what's going on, and we need to find a new wheel because the wheel's broken. Yeah, not great. Not great.
So now we've got the van jacked up. This is how loose this wheel is, which is a bit terrifying actually. So we're going to get this wheel completely off and the inner one, which hopefully isn't damaged as well, because that'll be faff to have two to replace, and see how the hub and everything's looking. So cross your fingers for us, please.
What's scary is Max can actually just take these, like he's taking the nuts off with his hand. They're that loose.
This could have gone so wrong.
How are they looking?
The nuts look alright, they're a bit shiny on the inside, but I don't think they look too worn.
What about the bolts?
I don't know, I can't quite see them yet. I think I'm going to have to take this wheel off before I can see the bolts or studs or whatever you call them.
So it's time to get this wheel off and I guess assess the damage that has been caused.
Oh wow, that's pretty worn. That's pretty worn, and the studs are as well, but the wheel behind it looks alright. Let's get it over there and have a proper look at it. So those, you can see where it's gone shiny, where it's been rubbing as well. Those round holes are meant to be here, and you can see where it's been worn away to the side of each one. So this should be a round thing centered here, and now it's there. Let me grab the other wheel off, it looked alright I think. Yeah, that's how it meant to look, that's the inside one. Again, the face, you can see where all the rust has been knocked off. But those holes are nice and round compared to those that are more like figure of eights. Should we go look at the studs? So yeah, each of the studs worn away into it as well. So where that wheel's come loose, however it's come loose, it's then gone and it's worn the stud away on one side, and on the opposite side it's worn the wheel away. So as it's been dragging it round.
God, that's crazy.
What?
How
Worn out there.
how worn out that is. Right, so we need to knock those out.
Yeah. Looks like that's what's come off the wheels. So we're going to give it a go getting some of these studs out, or at least one, to have a look at it. So I've got my stud removal tool. Give it a go.
Delicate tool.
Of course. Well, it worked. So that's what it should look like.
No, that's definitely what it shouldn't look like.
And that's what it shouldn't look like. You can see that side that's worn where the rim of the wheel was. So it looks like we'll have to replace all of them too. Yay!
Great. That's so bad. Look, it's like completely stripped.
Even this thread all the way up here is
Going.
This is turning out to be maybe more expensive than we thought.
hopefully not.
I think we need a new wheel and new studs.
Should we sit down and make a bit of a shopping list?
Yeah, definitely.
We obviously can't just stick our spare wheel on, which we do have, luckily, because obviously all the studs that attach the wheel in place are broken as well. So we need to get some fresh ones of those bought. Hopefully Mercedes have some in stock. If not, we'll order some. And then once we have them, we'll be able to have our spare on, but then we won't have a spare, so we are going to need to get our hands on a spare wheel as well.
So as if this week couldn't get any better, we are struggling to find the actual wheel nuts that we need. We found, like, if you type in Mercedes Vario wheel nuts, there are ones online, but they look very different to the ones that we actually have on the van. So we're just trying to find a part number right now.
So there's all these sets online, but if you look, you see how that has like the head and then this straight bit and then the thread starts. That one has its head and then this like shoulder part and then the stud, so it goes thicker, thinner, and then thread, and all the rest just go thick, thick, thick thread the whole way. And I've not found a single one online. I've looked at loads of places that have something like that. So it probably is going to be a phone call to Mercedes. Yeah, bye. Bye. Cool. So Mercedes have one wheel stud in the country.
One. Oh my
A single one, which we can have. We're going to be able to pick it up from their MK branch Monday after 2:30.
And how much is that going to cost us?
I think he said, including VAT, £9.20. But that
£9.20.
But that wasn't including the small washer, the big conical spring washer, or the stud, or the nuts. Sorry.
So it's £9.20 for literally just the bolt.
Correct.
And how many bolts are on a wheel?
6.
Oh my god.
And then we're going to need fresh. Yeah, cool. I know what other option is. There's none online that I can find.
Okay.
And we can't get a part number from Mercedes, so yeah. We're getting that one. We need to get that one to check that one is one with this shoulder bit and not like the straight through one.
Okay.
So we're going to get the one. He said they can get hold of more from, I think he said Germany.
Okay.
So we'll get the one, collect it Monday, see if it matches.
Yeah.
If it does, we'll look at ordering some more from Germany. Deep joy.
So I'm anger painting until we can sort this out. But the other issue we're coming up against is there's no point fixing it if we don't know why it happened in the first place. So we currently have 2 theories. Both of these theories have been backed up by our mate Albert, who is an absolute joy and a wonder. And he used to service Varios like on quite a large scale. So we've had a conversation with him and he backs up our theories. So we think we're onto a winner here. If we can fix these 2 problems, we've got it sorted.
Problem 1!
Spring washers, which are supposed to be springy, obviously, and ours are most definitely not. So they're not putting tension between the wheel and the nut, which could contribute to them coming loose.
Theory 2.
The 2 wheels at the back have mating faces. They sit basically touching each other. We think one of our wheels might have had a slight rust coating on that mating face that as we drove, because it's been sat still for quite a while, heated up, broke off, the rust came off, which left a gap, like a tiny gap, but a gap that was big enough to start that movement, which made those nuts come loose. So that's theory 2.
So it's probably a combination of those 2 things that have caused this problem, because if the rust had worn away and there was maybe a mil of gap in between them, in theory, the spring washer should have taken up that tension, but because the 2 happened at the same time, the spring washers weren't springy and the rust fell away, we got a loose wheel.
Yeah. So the two things, it was like a perfect storm. That's the theory anyway.
So, I hear you cry. How are you going to fix it? Our many-layered attack to stop it happening again. The spare and the surviving wheel on that side when we reattach them with our new studs when we finally get them. We're going to completely wire brush down the two mating faces so there's no rust or paint or anything left on them. And we're then going to put a tiny bit of copper grease on the surface just to stop them rusting. And then we're going to put them together. We're going to get new conical spring washers and we're going to fit them all the way around the van. So there is good tension on every single nut. We've bought a torque wrench so we can torque all of the nuts up to the appropriate strength. Torque to the appropriate one. Also as a backup, we've bought some little yellow pointers that fit over the nuts and point to each other. So if they do become loose, it's a lot easier to see where the problem is. That's our many-layered attack to fix it. So we just got back from Intercounter Mercedes.
And we have got a new bolt. And it matches, which is...
It's a match!
It's a match, which is great. It matches the ones that are already on the van. Problem is that means the ones that we found online 100% don't match. They are the wrong kind of bolt. So we're going to have to find these ones now. But we do have a part number. So we're going to do some covert sneaking around and searching online tonight to try and find one that maybe isn't from Mercedes and doesn't cost a bazillion pounds.
Doesn't matter where it's from, we just don't want to pay 10 quid a stud.
Yeah, 10 quid a stud is a bit ridiculous. So we're up a little bit earlier than normal for us. Not so bright, but definitely early. It is raining and miserable today. We are heading to the lockup because our wheels are arriving.
Finally.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a wait. We're so thankful that we found the guy who had like a full set, and he's been so lovely.
Big shout out to Andrew, he's been a legend.
Thank you, Andrew. And we're just waiting for the courier to get to the lockup today, and then hopefully by the end of the day we will have a van that moves finally. We'll be back on the road. So yeah.
We actually found Andrew in one of the Vario Facebook groups. So
Yeah.
that was a bit of a lifesaver, to be honest.
If you saw our panicked post about if anyone has any wheels, thank you if you replied, because we had some really helpful comments, so thank you. We've had the phone call and the wheels are arriving in like 15 minutes, so we're going to get everything ready. They're coming on a pallet because we have like a full set coming. So let's get the locker door open. The pro driver. That's a big old stack of wheels.
The moment of truth. Our box of hopefully nuts, bolts and spring washers has arrived. Now we just need to check. I've got our old worn one. Hopefully it's a match, unlike all those others online that we saw. We did go a bit overkill on the order and order lots of spares, hence the... There we go. Yeah, they look perfect. Yeah, they're spot on. And to make sure we've counteracted both of those potential causes, we've got some new of the conical spring washers as well, and you can see they're way more sprung than the ones that came off the van, just to give that tension on the back of the nut and hopefully stop what we've had happening again. On top of all that hardware, we've also invested in a torque wrench so we can torque the new wheel studs up to the correct amount of tension to make sure that's not any cause and they are tight enough. We've got some copper multi-purpose grease for when we wire brush down our wheels, just to put a tiny thin layer on those two metal faces to stop them rusting. And as a final future preventative measure, we've also invested in some pointy nut, pointy nut, what are they called?
I have no idea what they're called. Nut pointers.
We've invested in some of these, which are gonna...
Indicators? Are they called indicators?
Wheel nut indicators. Smashed it. We invested in some wheel nut indicators, so if they do, for any reason, end up getting loose, we will be able to see it a lot easier. So hopefully, all of these measures will mean we don't have to go through this again.
It's a wrap. Knife, please.
Can't we trust it? here they are. We've got some skanky tyres as we were expecting, but we've got some nice solid rims that aren't damaged from driving around with the wheel hanging off.
Right, we need to get them from here over there.
Let's get rolling, eh? So I'm not sure if we mentioned it, but we're actually opening a tyre shop. Excuse me, mate. Have you got any tyres?
Just a few, innit? What are we going to do with all these?
Should we reveal the master plan?
Yeah? Is there a master plan?
Somewhere deep inside my brain.
Oh yeah, that's about everything with this van. It's deep in your brain and I never get to see what it is until the very end.
So the longer term wheel plan, as you've noticed we've got a big pile, is to take one out of the new set that we've got with a good tyre on to have as our spare, and in the meantime we're going to get the remaining 6 of the new ones that we've bought and send them off to get shot blasted, painted, tidied up, made all beautiful, and we'll still have a full set and a spare on the van while that's happening, and then once they're done we'll then swap them all over for the ones that are on the van and probably get them tidied up and have a few spares, maybe sell a few. So yeah, there is a plan, deep down.
Yeah. You'll find a place to put them all for now.
Get wheel fitting!
Have you chosen the one you want?
I'll have this one, please.
This one.
Not yet.
As always, when you're jacking up your van, make sure you've got it all chocked up at the front. We've got axle stands ready for it to go on. We're not going underneath it when it's up there. You've just got to keep your safety first, guys.
Thank you. So now that we've got our new studs, we need to get all the old ones out and out the way so we can get the new ones fitted and then get some wheels on that aren't broken. Once we get the studs out on this side, we're going to have to release the handbrake and spin the hub round because the brake caliper's in the way to knock the ones out on that side. But we've got it all chocked up, chocks on the wheels, timber under the axle stands, jacks, all sorts, so it's nice and secure. We'll release the handbrake, spin it round, and get the rest out. So now we've released the handbrake, we can spin this round. So we've got good access to these other two and the rest are out. So now we just smash these ones out and then we'll look at getting some fresh ones in. Send it. Hey.
F-U-C-K'd.
She's so strong. Time to clean it up and get the fresh ones in then.
Yeah, it's a good job. These bits are okay.
Yeah, the hub's fine, isn't it? Looks weird all naked.
It does, doesn't it? It's a big... Makes you appreciate how big the wheels actually are. Like, I could get in there, it's huge. But I won't, because that would be dangerous.
Well, it's all chalked up on wood on the axle, it's not going anywhere.
I'm not getting in the hole for the wheel.
Those railway sleepers came in handy.
Oh, they did.
Cool, so that's the studs all half in. I guess it's best to get a wheel on, start pulling those studs all the way through. We'll make sure they're all lined up and gonna fit.
Now it's finally the time to get the wheels onto the van and we can be moving forward. Like actually moving. The van can go on the road again. So because we figured out it was probably the rust on those two mating faces, Max is currently wire brushing those faces to make sure there is no loose bits and pieces and that it all fits. So nothing comes off and they don't slip together and loosen everything back up again.
So the wheel's shinier now, so we've taken that back to metal. We're going to put a tiny thin layer of copper grease on it so it doesn't rust. But yeah, we've taken that back to metal so there's no rust or paint or anything that can heat up, wear away, and then we'll get that gap again.
So we just watched a really quick YouTube video about a torque wrench So we've got our new torque wrench and we're just about to tighten up all of our nuts so that they are officially as tight as they need to be.
They're meant to be 180 newton meters, nm? Is all that?
Yeah, newton meters, 180. So yeah.
It's meant to.
It won't make a noise.
There.
Yeah, and then you can go back and then...
Do the next one.
Yeah. There you go, that's it.
So that is those nuts all torqued up to what's in the manual, and then the final step of stopping this happening again is putting our nut indicators on. So we'll grab them now. So if you missed any of that, we've got a cleaned up hub, we've got fresh studs, we've got cleaned up wheels with a bit of copper grease in on the two faces that touch, fresh washers that actually have a bit of spring in them, fresh nuts, torqued up with the torque wrench to the right torque, and then some yellow nut indicators, so if anything does happen, we'll be able to see that those 2 points aren't pointing to each other and that the nuts come in loose in a bit more time before they break next time. There's not going to be a next time, but you know what I mean. So yeah, there we go. Should we go home?
Yes.
Are you knackered?
I'm so knackered.
I feel gross. And there it is. There it is. On, attached, not going to fall off, and working. Happy?
I'm so happy. I'm so glad we are finally roadworthy again.
Time to celebrate?
Definitely time to celebrate. I need a drink.
So we've been looking for an excuse to use an incredible gift that we got given by Owen and Catherine. They sent us this incredible cocktail making kit, and we thought having the van road legal again is going to be the best way to celebrate. So we're going to make some mojitos. Find somewhere nice to have a drink?
Sure. Cheers.
Cheers.
This could be worse.
This definitely could be worse.
Good cocktail.
Thanks.
And cheers to Owen and Catherine as well. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
That's all we've got time for this week because we have an afternoon of drinking cocktails to see to. But thank you so much for watching.
And we'll promise we'll do a bit more van building next week. And I guess
You should like and subscribe.
we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.